freaking Chinese interview. Here we go. Good, at least it's Zoom. I didn't have to prepare. Meeting is being transcribed for audio companion. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Yes, hello. How are you?
Good. Hi.
Good. The Golden Gate Bridge behind you. Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's not
Yes.
good to use
Good
the real
evening. Good
background.
evening. Yes.
It's virtual one, yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. Very good. So yeah, I don't. Do I have the? I can share, right? I can share my screen. I have the ability here to share my
So
screen.
so
Okay.
Yuanqing.
Hi.
So who is the host?
I think I will be the host, or do
Okay,
you prefer
that's good.
the host?
That's good. That's good.
Okay. So, Clifford.
Yes.
Hi. Before we get started, do you mind me introducing my colleagues here today?
Sure. Go for yes. Please do.
Okay. So I want to start with Professor Wang Jian. Professor Wang Jian is professor from Silk Business School of Shanghai University. He holds a PhD in economics and has rich experiences in teaching content courses in English.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. More than 10 years.
Yes. Great.
They're very experienced. And Director Chen Xi is a professor at the School of Foreign Languages of Hefei University of Technology. He got his PhD in English and American Literature and currently serves as the director of the Foreign Languages Department and has long been engaged in English teaching.
Great.
Director Chen.
Hi.
Yes.
It's a pleasure.
Hello. Yes. Good evening. Good evening. Yes.
Good evening.
Yes.
And Professor Huang Rui is also from the School of Foreign Languages of Hefei University of Technology, and she has been dedicated to research and teaching college English and oral English for many years. Professor Huang?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Glad to see you. I.
And Professor.
Okay.
Okay, please go ahead. Sorry.
Please. That's enough. No, please go ahead. Yuanqing, please.
Okay. And Professor Zhu Chen is the secretary of the party branch at the Department of International Economics and Trade of our university. He also has a PhD degree and has extensive teaching experiences. Professor
Hello,
Zhu.
good evening.
Yes. Good evening. Yes. Hello. Good evening.
And I am from the International Education Center of the School of Economics, of Hefei University of Technology. I always, suffers from introducing those departments and schools.
It's okay. Yes.
And we also have Chong Chong here. You will see HFUT, and she's the one who contacted you, emailed you to organize this interview. She will not turn on her camera. It's not convenient for her to do so, but she's there.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So we can get started with your demo class. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Sure.
And taking the time to prepare for the demo class.
Sure, yes. As you know, it's very difficult not knowing the level, right, of our students, as you all are esteemed professors, right? So we need to assess the levels of our students. The first several classes, I think I've been teaching long enough that it just generally takes me one class to understand whether they're A1 through the fluency, but I try to incorporate as many English skills as possible. So I would like to think, right, this would be for the business section, which is my love. I've also taught medical English, so I've got my master's in long-term healthcare, nearly completing my doctorate, but as you all know, it's very expensive. It's more money than talent in the USA to get your degrees. So unfortunately, I'm coming close to getting my doctorate in healthcare as well, but I finished all the coursework. So let me pull you, it's been a while since I've used Zoom, but let me pull you all over here to the side. So these are pretty good. Lingua House, I'm not sure if you've utilized these worksheets before, everybody, but they incorporate reading, speaking, and listening in English, and they do it now in Spanish too, in Espanol. So I think that's pretty interesting. So here we have it. This is generally an elementary, so this would be, I would think, very easy for everybody. Business trips, which is important now that we're back globalized and moving around on our lovely planet. Of course, as you all know, every airport, right, is English dominant for the most part, or it's the second language, right, so you must speak English navigating, I would say, through our airports. So I think that's always prescient or timely to do so. So here we have it. Patrick and Michael work for the British branch, although obviously I've uploaded or I've downloaded the American. If you see the Statue of Liberty on the left-hand side, so they've got American English and British English as two options. So of course, obviously this is a Sino-American program, so I downloaded the American version, but for some reason they have the British branch of a Spanish company. So let's go ahead and read the conversations below. So Yuan Xin, can you go ahead and be Patrick? And then Dr. Wong, right? Can you go ahead and please read Michael for us here?
Sure.
Sure.
So Patrick, okay. Michael, I'm going to visit our head office in Madrid next week.
Whoa, lucky you.
Have you been there?
No, I haven't. I haven't been to our head office.
Really? Have you been to Spain?
Yes, I have. I went to Barcelona last summer. It was lovely. Why are you going?
Well, I'm going to attend an important meeting to discuss our new marketing strategy.
Wow, it sounds interesting. I would like to go. I enjoy business trips. I went to Berlin last month to visit one of our clients. Have you been to Berlin?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Well, how long are you going to stay in Madrid?
About 3 days. It's not enough time for sightseeing, but the weather is going to be fantastic. Have you been to a hot country before?
Yes, I have. I've been to Dubai. It was boring there.
Dubai? Wow, I haven't been there. And have you been to a very cold country?
Yes, I have. I've been to Iceland.
My manager has been to Iceland. He went there last year. He said it was freezing.
Yes, I agree. So, who are you going to travel with?
A few co-workers from my department. We are very excited about the new marketing strategy.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We finished that one. Let me scroll back. So I would take a time out and generally do the keywords, right, for today. As you all know, I'm sure, right, there's synonyms, right, with different words. And as the great Chinese students, right, are just stuck on Pyongyang or just beautiful, right? So I give them a synonyms, right? To be lovely, right, is another good adjective to use, right? Instead of just beautiful, it's synonymous, right, to being beautiful. So go ahead, feel free to use lovely in your everyday life, as well as boiling. So I think the darken words, I'm not sure if they've darkened before or not, but to boil over, so I would explain the verb, right, to boil over, maybe to get angry or something comes apart. So it boils over, and I would try to equate that in the business sense. So say if you're in a meeting and everything comes to a head or everybody is finished, then it boils over onto tomorrow. It can also have a negative connotation, maybe. We try not to do that. right? Maybe if everyone gets a little angry, it boils, right? It boils like a hot pan. And then, of course, we have the opposite, the antonym, which is freezing. And in the business sense, you do not want to have a cold or a freezing business meeting, right? You want something in between. You don't want to boil over. You don't want it too cold. You want a productive, warm meeting, I would say. And then, of course, to be excited, the verbal phrase below, the last sentence for Patrick. Of course, I think we're all excited in business, right? To conduct business. So, of course, I would try to always equate that to my class, right? My business class. So then moving on. So here we have find a word which means. What do you think? Let's see. Dr. Chen, Yisheng Chen, Bosheng Chen, Dr. Chen, what do you think? What would be an equation for number one? To be very nice from what we just read. What do you think?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah, what do you think? What are the words that we just reviewed together, right? The black words that would be very nice, right?
Lovely. I think lovely.
Yeah, right? Perfect, right? So there we have it, right? I would give maybe a little of my instruction. Right, exactly. Very nice. Yuan Xin, what do you think for very cold, right? We just discussed this.
I think freezing.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And Dr. Wong, what do you think? To be very hot would be?
Boiling?
Yes, you're right. This is elementary, too easy for you three for sure. So, but there's different levels with Lingua House, so, but you know. And then earlier today would be before. And then, of course, happy and enthusiastic, right, is to be excited. And then this would just be a brief grammatical concept. It depends on what you would like from me in my business classes. Of course, right, I know how difficult it is studying business in our own languages, let alone a foreign class, but I might incorporate some grammatical points as well. So here we have it, right? Answer the questions, look at the tables. So the affirmative, right? The positive forms. So I have been to Barcelona. I have been to Tokyo, right? He, she will go or they are going to Shanghai. The negative forms, of course, right? I haven't being the contraction or the informal way of saying it. But if you're talking to your boss, no, I have not been to Beijing, right? And then some questions, I might ask them some questions, right? Trying to elicit responses from my good students and have them speak more, right? Have you ever been to Beijing, right? Yes, no, why or why not? Would you like to go to Shanghai, right? Yes, no, why or why not, right? Do you think one day you may go to Shenzhen, right? And have them conjugate those questions appropriately. And then moving on to page 3. So here we have find somebody who, right? One-to-one. I think it's always good to group students together because obviously we have answers that we've never had before, especially in the last 10 years. And now with AI, we can answer anything at the speed of our fingertips, but that doesn't really elicit good conversation and teamwork. So I think it's important to break up into teams. I'm not sure how the university structures their seating arrangements, but I love the round tables, right? Especially for business students so they can discuss, you can give them case studies and they can come up with solutions together. So of course I would partner them up, maybe 2 or 3 people, right? To ask questions, right? Have you ever been to a hot country? Have you ever been to a dangerous country, right? And then I would ask each group, I might sporadically, right, ask them different questions, right, then have them prepare. So that would be about 10, 15 minutes to have them ask each other these questions together within their teams. And then the larger classes, right, ask your classmates questions, right, have you ever been to? So find someone who has, right, who has been to. So trying to incorporate some reading, I think, right, whether it's a business case study or not. Try to incorporate definitely some speaking and some teamwork engagement, especially within business. I think that's all important because everyone, we can get what we perceive as the answers on AI now, like that. But is AI smarter than humans when it comes to getting a team result or a team answer? I'm still not so sure, right? That's up for debate. So that's generally my style. If you have any questions for me, feel free. But I definitely am an applied business professor, right? So I try to have them do, right? I provide the framework and have them achieve a result, right, as best as possible. There you go.
Thank you very much,
Yes.
Clifford, for your demo class and your teaching philosophy and strategies. So I think we can move on to the next part of our interview today. That is
Right.
the answers. I want to know if my colleagues here have any questions for Clifford. Can we start with Professor Wang?
Okay. So yeah, hi Clifford.
Yes.
Yeah, I have been working in business school. It's a joint program with the Australia side
Okay.
for 11 years.
Yes.
So I always give lecture for foreign students in English, but I always give lecture for economics or international business. My own experience is, so when you give lecture to the local students, so I'm not sure, Yuanqing, maybe Clifford give lecture for business English, all right?
Yes.
We're not sure which course, because Urjiang only told us there will be 2 English courses for the spring semester. One
Okay,
is
mainly for language, all right?
one is English language and culture 2, and the other is business English. He has not told us which course Clifford is interested in, and I think
Okay.
he's celebrating
I got it.
the holiday. So
Yeah, I got it. So I mean that, yeah, especially for students majored in business or economics, actually language proficiency improvement actually is a systematic job, right?
Yes.
It's a systematic project. So in my school, actually, we have a very, how to say, hierarchy training system. So we have the highest level is academic writing, but the basic level is from the grammar, the oral English, and some basic skeleton for English project. So I'm not sure for Yuanqing's school, how do they design the whole course system?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
for business culture, right? Culture course or maybe business English. So my suggestion is in Hefei, actually it's a little bit different with Shanghai, all right? So maybe younger people or younger talented people, they are, how to say, they are very shy to open their mouth, all right?
Right.
So you have to encourage students to involve in your discussion and gradually to improve their oral ability.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the first one. Yeah, another one is for the academic way. According to your demo, I find you lay out some basic words and the phrase. So I think gradually how to move to academic business, all right?
Right.
Academic business, yeah, because they are undergraduates. Yeah, so I mean that, yeah, maybe in the future you needed to add more diversified elements
Yes.
into the slides.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's my part, Yuanqing. Keep going.
Thank you very much, Professor Wang. And do you want to, address that or have any comments to Professor Wang's suggestion?
I absolutely agree, right? So once we assess, right, the level of the students, I'm all for incorporating case studies, right, for them to study the case studies together as a team, 2, 3, 4, depending on how large the class is, as we would say, the meat of the subjects, right? To focus on, say, Procter and Gamble or Coca-Cola has struggled in a certain country. Why is it that they struggled, right? So they would read a little case study unto themselves, or we would read it together as a class, and then they would address those issues, of course, right? So yeah, uncertain where I would be placed or what my role would be, right, within the university, yes. But Dr. Wang, I agree with you, yes, wholeheartedly, yes, yes.
Thank you, Clifford. And Professor Chen Xi, do you have any questions or suggestions for Clifford?
Yeah, I would like to have a conversation about our teaching style in HFGT because there are some questions we will ask for new teachers because there's this culture about how we evaluate students and also how do we get to know the students and interact with them in classes. So, Mr. Clifford, how would you get to know the students? For example, do you have any specific techniques of your own that can
Sure.
enable you to build up this rapport with students?
Yeah, well, the first day, of course, is the meet and greet and introduce yourself, right? I generally have the standard of talk about who you are, your name, right? Maybe your Pinyin name, your English name, where you come from, maybe what your favorite food is, right? A favorite activity that you like to do. And then something quirky, make a funny face or something, right? Or a talent that you have. So that also, of course, everyone's being a teacher. Of course, when you have so many students, it's easy for them to remember you. But when you have so many students, it's difficult to remember all of them. But if you know their talent or you know where they're from, you can associate better, or you know a little bit more about the students. So then I take time that way. And of course, it's just a building process. The more classes you have with the students, the better you get to know them. Yes.
Yes. And one of our foreign teachers has a method of taking photos of students, and it dramatically increases their familiarity with each other because
Okay.
once you get their names with their images, that could be
Yeah.
very helpful.
Sure. Yeah.
Good way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't mind doing. I
secondly-
notice some students are rather shy or they don't write, so it depends on the students. So I'm not. I generally write. Sometimes teachers can get in trouble taking pictures of their students, right? So, but
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, the students, if they feel they're not given enough care by the teacher, they may try to pay more attention to their phones rather than the class itself.
Oh,
So
right.
to engage students,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
that-
try to. I try to incorporate their phones. So I don't. Right. We all have our phones.
Okay.
So I will have their emails and I will send them their assignment on their phones. Right. So I will have
Okay.
them utilize and integrate the phone as much as possible. I'm not an old professor that says put away your phones. Just listen to me. Right. Those are bygone. Those are historic teachers that don't exist anymore in our open
Exactly.
and internet world, right? So I love it when they use their phones. I want them to use their phones. However, the answers that I would like in response to the case studies are individualistic that I think outpaces artificial intelligence, right? I don't think artificial intelligence can yet solve a business issue or understand the business climate of Thailand, right, Vietnam, China, right, or America. So that's where they can use their phones, but I would like their input on how to solve why Coca-Cola is selling more in Africa and it is sold less, right, in China or America, right? So I want their personal, their teamwork input.
Okay.
Yes.
My second question, or maybe even suggestion about the class teaching is about assessment. And I'm also interested if you have any plan to fairly assess your students.
Sure. But in my time spent in China,
in accordance with their performance.
in my time spent with China and the
Yes,
Chinese.
I mean the
yeah.
whole performance.
Yeah, I think Chinese universities do a great job of structuring,
Perhaps.
of doing that for us before we come to teach, of what level, putting all of the students, right, adequately at the level, right? There's debate with that, whether it should be a mixed or not. But I agree, right? Putting, right, lower ability foreign language students in one section, right, with a higher section. This goes with any topic, right? If you're better at maths or math, right, you're at a higher level. You're in a more challenging environment with your classmates. That said, I think I've been teaching for so long that I can gauge where students are probably within the first 20 minutes. After the introductions, I know they're speaking. And then when we're reading together, I know their reading ability, and then their comprehension when I'm speaking and within their team assignments. So I think within the first 1 or 2 classes, I can fairly assess where they're at with their English and then business English abilities, and then move on from there, right? I'm definitely not a prejudicial grader. So I think my grading style is if you put forth the energy, right? I know where you've started, and if you keep progressing, it doesn't matter if you slowly progress. If you just, right? It's like in Chinese, jayo. If you keep doing it, yeah, right? You've got my, you got my heart, right? That's all that matters to me. Yes.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chen. A lot of great questions. And thank you, Clifford, for your answers.
Yes.
And one of Professor Chen's question about the cell phone policy, that is actually what the question I want to ask tonight too, because sometimes students like to, go shopping online with their cell phones or chat with their friends. They are not using their cell phone to, for the class materials or something. So my question, I want to put it at the end, but since Professor Chen just brought it up, so I can just follow up on that. So my question actually would be, what strategies do you really use to make them put down their cell phone? I mean, not doing something that is not related to your class, like reviewing for their math class or go shopping, playing the video games, etc.
I'm a very nice, I'm a nice teacher, professor, but I'm also a tall, big guy that moves around the classroom. so I will, if I see this, I will call on you. I will call on you, right, to have the answer. And right, just it's not a problem of respect or anything. But if I see you playing video games, right, then it's your turn to answer my question, right? So you better be prepared, right? But I think I think the students like my style because I'm energetic. I don't just stand up. I'm just not a lecturer, right? I think those are the professors of old. Much respect to them, right? But now that we have the internet, everyone can cross-check our answers, right? Rapidly. So I think interacting and applied is the best, right? Applied business, applied mathematics. So I want them to apply it. So if I see someone playing video games, you better believe it. They better apply what I've just taught, right? Otherwise, right, they're going to not look very, very clever, right, in the class if they're just playing video games and they're not prepared, right, to answer. Yes.
Thank you. That's a great strategy. Thank you. And Professor Huang Rui, do you have any question here?
Yeah. Hi, Clifford. I'm impressed by the way you start your class and the way you used to get to know the proficiency of your student. My question is, I'm quite interested in the student feedback. Now, how do you handle student feedback, and what steps do you take to improve your teaching based on their input?
Sure. Whether it's a Weixin, a WeChat group, I'm all for it. However, sometimes that can get too crazy, right? So I always say email me. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. If you want to meet for coffee, I'm happy to meet you for coffee if you have any serious concerns about your future or the class or what you would like to do. But I'm highly professional, right? In the classroom, I give them my heart, I give them my soul, right? And then when we leave, I know they have other classes, they have other obligations, they might have family issues or problems, I understand. But I try to just make my class lively and happy. I've never really had any student complaints, right? I think the difference, right, again, is just that's why I emailed Tong Tong is the difference between the East and West. But this is why I'm entertaining, right, coming back to China, because this is a Western, right, a Sino program. That it's the difference, right? Socratic method. So I think it's been interesting my 12 years coming back and forth teaching at universities in China, because some public universities, they might not understand the Socratic method, that you allow your students to ask questions, right? You give them questions, right? So it's a little bit different. But I think all in all, especially today, I think all of our students around the world like to participate more. No one likes your angry teachers, right? We don't remember our angry teachers. We always remember our happy teachers that want the best for us and want the best for us, and we want the best from them. We learn from them because they really care about us. So that's who I try to be. That's what I am. I'll never change, right? That's who I am.
Okay, thank you. And also, personally, I'm quite interested in, it is very possible for you to take the business English course here, right? I'm teaching. I have taught just the college English or integrated English for many years. So I'm quite interested in what specific skills and knowledge do you believe are essential for students to succeed in a business English course?
For sure. I was 2 classes shy of finishing my MBA and my Master's of Information Systems, but I switched. That's another story. My grandparents had Alzheimer's, dementia, so I switched to healthcare administration. But in any master's, as I'm sure you all know, and especially the doctoral programs in the West, right, it's a mutual engagement and it's more applied. So in terms of steps, I think exactly kind of how I'm structuring this class and my philosophy is just more teamwork, because we can sit at a computer and get more information today than it took 1,000 people, right, just 10 years ago to research everything, right, especially AI. We can get answers like this, but it still doesn't negate teamwork, right? I still think teamwork outpowers AI. It still does, right? So I think there's still the ability that we humans are still smarter than AI, but I think it's all about teamwork, working together to achieve a result.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all my question.
Thank you, Professor Huang, and thank you, Clifford. And Professor Zhu Chen.
Hi, Clifford. I have a very simple question. Do you like China?
没事儿，我爱中国，一生没事儿，I love China. My
That's
wife
great.
is Chinese. I don't know if everyone knows that 她是东北来的辽宁人. So my wife is from China, of course. I love China very much. Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
from Liao. Interesting.
Yes.
Thank you, Professor Zhu, and thank you, Clifford. Do you have any question for us?
No, yeah, it was a pleasure. Sorry to keep everyone late, but I had another obligation earlier. But yes, thank you it was a pleasure meeting everybody. And yeah, hopefully things will work out, right? Yeah, Hefei, I've heard wonderful things. And of course, why Shanghai, right? I love Shanghai. Zhejiang, I love the province. So yeah, I would definitely entertain an offer, right, to come teach for sure. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we'll let you know as soon as we can
Great.
about our decision. And thank you again for joining us tonight.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you, Clifford.
Yes. Good night.
you.
One an. Good night, everybody. Bye bye. Saijan.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.